The phrase all-time classic is something that's thrown around and lost its meaning. We always say to our friends that you have to watch this specific show, and the only reason you recommend said show is because it is a all-time classic. What does that exactly mean? We label so many anime an all-time classic like Cowboy Bebop, Evangelion, Gurren Lagann, Fullmetal Alchemist, Vinland Saga, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Hunter x Hunter, One Piece, or even this naked wolf goddess that eats everything including wheat. Nonetheless, the list goes on forever, and in their own way, all of these are timeless, wonderful written stories that every fan of anime or not should at least try. Even this one, whatever the hell this one is. I could go over everything in existence and tell you what to watch, but I'm not going to do that. Not today at least. I'll make those 8-hour videos one day, just you wait. Out of all the anime that I listed, out of all the anime I watched, all the manga I have read so far, in the 18 years of being on this earth, there's one that I think both kids and adults should at least give a try, and that's Mob Psycho 100. Let me ask you a quick question. Out of all these characters, who do you think is the main character? Out of this cast of bombastic group of individuals with colorful hair, who do you think the show will focus on almost every episode? You think this guy? Or maybe this guy? Or this guy with the long ass hair? Well, if you picked any of these people, you'd be terribly wrong. Mob Psycho 100 follows the everyday life of a seemingly basic 8th grader, Shigeo Kageyama, but also called Mob. This bizarre, energetic, adrenaline-fueled story takes place in a world full of spirits, who cause destruction and only that. And on the flip side, we have psychics, those who have mental superpowers to eradicate them. This all serves as the backdrop for our young psychic. He is sweet and innocent, yet super awkward, but that goes for a lot of kids, including me. Middle school wasn't really a great time at all. It was pretty bad. Mob is like most kids, and I think that's why so many people come back and watch this show again and again and again. I never get tired of just sitting in my bed and watching this series go from supportive gym bros helping some young kid to batshit crazy villains. Mob Psycho offers an incredible world of characters combined with mind-bending action sequences that go on forever, and I never get bored, trust me. It's amazing to see how powerful characters are and wonder who will win. The series invites viewers into a supernatural world where espers use awesome psychic abilities that bring color to the screen, who also live among normal people, those who are non-gifted. Something that makes the series really stand out isn't the fact that a lot of the kids have psychic powers, or Mob having immense power as a young esper, or even just the animation. It simply comes down to who Mob is, this young, sweet, and also innocent child. I say his greatest power is bringing out the best in those around him, including a lot of people who initially seemed like a villain, and moreover, someone who's kind of a con artist. In contrast to our super strong esper, we have Mob's master, Reagan. He's a bit of a fake. He is no esper, has no visible talent, and uses Mob to promote his scummy business of catching ghosts. He knows he's a fraud, but everyone else seems oblivious to the fact, even Mob. So how could it be possible that this character, this fraud, could be redeemable? And how in the hell could he be one of my favorite characters from the show? During an episode, the series flashbacks to the first time Mob and Reagan met. Mob wanders into Reagan's business after seeing the man's sign about being a psychic. He hopes that the older man can teach him how to control his own abilities as an esper. Reagan almost ignores the kid and goes about his life, but when he spills tea, Mob uses his ability to catch the falling tea in midair. That's when he would reconsider his options and take him under his wing, even though he's a fraud. Even if his initial plan is to use Mob for his powers just to gain monetary value, you'd be 100% right. However, I want you to consider something. It's heartwarming to see this kid's face light up at the idea of having someone to talk to about his abilities and much more. Even though his advice can come off really bad, there's still a sign of care. He subconsciously decided to take care of this kid. He didn't have to at all. In the final parts of the first season, we see Reagan show up and defend Mob, Ritsu, Teruyuki from Claw, an organization that just manipulates children. In one of the coolest fight scenes I have seen, Reagan steps in to protect Mob from higher ranking members of Claw, all of whom are far more dangerous than the first group group he encountered. The idea of putting himself in harm's way for Mob's sake is very telling of how much he cares for the kid, and he does it repeatedly through the entire series. What the show does differently is present a evil or outright stupid character and makes them into someone that we can trust, someone that the main character can confide their feelings to. Characters come with flaws, obviously, but it's ultimately up to us as a community to help change, and that's the magic of Mob Psycho. Similar to recent series like Ranking of Kings, Mob Psycho tries to teach us a very basic lesson that tends to be overlooked in a lot of stories. While being a little bit too on the nose with its advice, it grew on me. Early on in the series, Shigeo accidentally ends up at a gathering for a cult called Lull, whose hex-possessed members have fallen under the control of their leader named Dimple. Despite many attempts to make Shigeo fall under his control, revealing his true evil spirit form, Dimple still fails miserably. Using a single touch to the forehead, Shigeo exercises Dimple into thin air. Somehow, someway, Dimple survives as a small, green, inferior ghost. He goes to Shigeo's house where he begs for mercy, promising to be good. He claims Shigeo as his master as he awaits an opportunity to possess him. So, initially he comes off very evil, very mischievous, but as the story progresses, Dimple grows fond of the young kid and chooses to help Mob on his ventures of catching ghosts or enjoying the harsh world of middle school. You have kids like Teruyuki and Ritsu who come off as these villains, but somehow, someway, they change only for the better. Ritsu's rage and envy towards his brother, for example, set him up for a classic villain's origin arc, but this boring cliche is stopped instantly by Mob's love and admiration for his little brother. So what starts as your basic battle shonen with a good guy with powers versus bad guy with powers is actually a boy who is overwhelmed by so many life-changing events versus another boy who is also overwhelmed by many life-changing events. There is a complexity surrounding these characters. This is not your basic show, and I want you to understand that. Each character pursues their own goals as much as they can, often shifting the perspective and priorities as they change in the process of obtaining what they want. This growth invests the viewer in every character that comes onto screen, no matter how small the role is. With character development so highly prioritized, the plot is freed up to make episodes that subvert audience expectations of what a shonen anime should be. This is a new, fresh take on a stale genre, and I really don't have any bad things to say about the show. Even when it comes to animation, all I can do is praise. The artwork, as well as emphasizing certain scenes, help sell the drama and humor of the overall story. We see different espers have certain color schemes, and alongside very specific moves. But I do want to talk about someone that is not an esper, Reagan.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
He wears a simple suit and has basic hair. He has the ability known as Self-Defense Rush, which is basically punching people when caught off guard. He does this so he can escape. Or Banishing Salt Punch, which is just a punch. Or Salt Splash, Sorcery Crush, and Anti-Esper Dropkick. The list of stupid moves goes on forever, but rather it's solely being some way to make fun of Reagan's lack of Esper abilities, it also shows what he's capable of in a fight, and makes him stand out from a lot of other characters. You see this a lot in One Punch Man. You see these bizarre characters, but have their own movesets, have their own personality, and have their own package, each being so different from the other. Anime often tells tales of growth with hyperbole. However, Mob struggles like any normal person would. He wants to make his body stronger, to learn how to talk with girls, and to navigate a world of people who aren't always telling the truth. Because his struggles to make himself a better person is so vulnerable, it's also authentic that the typical shonen anime structure becomes completely flipped. Mob Psycho 100 goes to great lengths to put viewers in Mob's headspace, even going so far as to include a numerical value to give us an idea of his emotional state. And if he's at 100%, he'll go batshit crazy. As mere observers, we understand how hard Mob has worked. He faces hardships, but also learns from those experiences. He maintains his innocence and kindness while having to experience near-death situations. This power fantasy is paired with suffering, yet he was able to heal over time, learn from those experiences, and become a truly better person. In any anime, fans expect the main character to grow as the series continues. Still, Mob seems to have come a long way in only just a short amount of time. We're only 2 seasons in, and there's a lot of room for him to change. Keep in mind, he's already managed to form a much healthier relationship with himself, his abilities, and the people around him. He starts off as a quiet kid whose only close relationship seems to be with Reagan. However, it slowly changes. It's clear that Mob is forming genuine bonds by the end of the 2nd season. He's forming these new relationships with his classmates as well as the villains he runs into. He has a positive effect on people with his kindness. That helps him grow as a person. And with his love and genuine care for that of ghosts and people alike, he receives love back, who come from a different background, a different life, and have a different perspective. He's even able to give advice to others who are in the exact same place as he once was. If there was a show of growth, it's Mob Psycho 100, the all-time classic.